Look what my brother Thuan got me for Christmas. It's Hedwig! I have a Hedwig, look! I love her so much. I finally have my Hedwig. Look, she flaps. Caw-caw! Caw-caw! That's not the noise that owls make, is it? Nope. Fly away. Whee! Alrighty then. Today's top 5 is my favourite book series, which you already know if you've read the title of the video. So there was no point in me saying it, and I've just wasted everybody's time. So yeah, it's a good start, isn't it? Number 5 is Nana by A. Yazawa, and if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I'm really sorry. Nana is a manga series, and it follows the story of 2 girls, and they're both called Nana, which is the Japanese for 7. So Nana and Hachi, which is the nickname of the other one, they meet on a train to Tokyo when they're both moving to Tokyo on the same day, and they meet on the train and end up moving in together, but they end up being like best friends, and it's just the story of them living in Tokyo and their lives kind of intersecting. It's really good. It's really good if you like fashion at all, or if you're like into kind of punky music or that kind of scene. It's really good, and I recommend it. It's really good. It's really cute. You know, there's an anime series as well, which I actually haven't seen, and there's a couple of live action movies which I also haven't seen. I've only read the books. At the core of the series is just this really interesting friendship, this really tight bond, you know, like there's lots of different love stories going on, but the most important relationship is just between these 2 girls. Essentially, it's a story about romance, but the truest romance is between just these 2 girls that are best friends, and all the boy drama that's going on in the background is sort of superfluous, and I love that. So yeah, read it. It's really, really good. It will rip your heart out and tear it into little pieces, but apart from that, it's fine. Number 4 is not really a series, strictly. It's just 2 books, but I think there might be going to be more, so I'm counting that one. It's John Dies at the End, and its sequel, This Book is Full of Spiders. Both by David Wong. And they're really, oh my god, these books are just so good. It's a bit like Douglas Adams, but with more swearing and dick jokes. It's just, I can't even describe it with words. It's so odd and so scary and dark and just incredibly twisted and weird and funny and gross that it just has to be read. You might think that the name is a little bit of a spoiler, but don't worry about that, because John actually dies at the start of the book, so you don't have to worry about that. And then the sequel is This Book is Full of Spiders, which is a wonderful name. Warning! You may have a huge invisible spider living in your skull. This is not a metaphor. I would recommend both of them. They're really fucking good. They're really funny. They're really, really funny. If you like horror and gore and dick jokes, these are the books for you. They're so good. You have to read them. Okay. That's... everything shook. That wasn't my intention. I think pretty much everyone has read The Hunger Games at this stage, but if you haven't, and you haven't seen the films, let me give you a quick summary. It's set in the sort of near future, in the country of Panam, and basically there's a central capital state, and then around it are all these districts. And before the start of the book, the districts had an uprising against the capital, which controls everything, and they lost. So now every year each district has to give one boy and one girl to this big reality TV show where all the kids slaughter each other until there's one left. And then that one, you know, gets all this prize money and stuff. So that's fucked up. So the story follows Katniss and the male tribute Peeta going into the games and trying to figure out how to survive and dealing with all this capital bullshit and this terror. The books are really scary, like, well, not really scary, but certainly scarier than the films. And far more political than the films. The films kind of romanticized a lot of things. But they're very brutal, they're very dark, and they're so good. They're so good. And something I love about them is that it's all told from Katniss's point of view. So she's kind of an unreliable narrator. Katniss sometimes has a very prejudiced point of view about people. She sort of decides straight away whether she likes someone or not, or whether she trusts someone or not. So her perception of people really skews her telling of the story. And a lot of the time she's left out of the loop, so you don't, as the reader, really know what's going on because she doesn't know what's going on. And you, as a reader, misjudge people because she's misjudged them. So that makes it actually a really interesting way into the story, and makes them much more captivating than I think the films are. I mean, I really like the films, and I think Jennifer Lawrence is really good as Katniss. But the books are just infinitely better. Number 2 is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy trilogy of 5. Or 6 now, because Owen Colfer wrote a new one, which is actually kind of good, which I didn't expect. You may have seen the Martin Freeman film, which I actually really liked. It's really good. Anyway, it's based on these books, which are in turn based on a radio series. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series follows Arthur Dent, who is a human being just living on Earth, doing his own thing, minding his own business, and then suddenly the planet is demolished to make way for a hyperspace bypass. Luckily, just before the planet is demolished, Arthur is rescued by his friend Ford Prefect, who it turns out isn't a human, but is from a small planet somewhere in the vicinity of Beetlejuice. They hitch a lift on one of the demolition ships, and it's just Arthur's adventures in space, him kind of just grumpily wandering around in his pajamas, not really knowing what's going on, and sort of being unimpressed by space. But yeah, if you're a sci-fi nerd and you haven't read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you need to do it immediately. It's just so good. It's so good. It's one of those things that defies explanations. You kind of just have to read it to know what it is. And I've read the whole series several times, and I still don't quite know what it is. I just know that I like it. So even if my Hogwarts t-shirt hadn't given it away, I don't think it would come as any surprise to anyone that my number 1 book series of all time is Harry Potter! And, oh, we're losing one. We're losing 2, actually. Shit. Get up there, you. Yes. There they are. All of them. Nice and neat and together. Some of them are quite battered because I've had them all since they came out. They're big and they're heavy, and they're held together with sellotape, and I love them more than anything. So, they're my favourite. I'm going to put them down because they are heavy. Ugh. Everyone knows Harry Potter. Everyone knows what it's about at this stage. Wizards, basically, and magic, and a dude called Harry Potter. But a lot of people that kind of just missed out on it at the time still haven't read the books and have only seen the films. Please don't do that. Please don't base your judgment of Harry Potter on the films, because they're just, I think up until 3, bit of 4 maybe, they're alright, but then it just goes, no, they're not representative of the series, in my mind anyway. Even though they're, you know, they're enjoyable and all that. But no. If you want to understand Harry Potter, you really have to read the books. And even if you don't like them, just, they're still so much better than the films, like I can't even explain. Just, if you haven't read Harry Potter, you need to read Harry Potter. Your life is empty without Harry Potter in it. It just is. Sorry. So yeah, that's that. Go and read all of these books I recommended. Or don't. Well, read Harry Potter, but the others, you know, make up your own mind. Comment, like, subscribe, all that nonsense. And I shall see you later. Alright, bye!